Let's be honest here, ninjas suck. Unlike Outlanders, ninjas have never been good. Outlanders right now are probably the best class in the entire game, and just ninjas have never gotten that. Yes, there's been a few buffs here and there for ninjas, but nothing has really pushed them over that threshold of being terrible classes in the current meta or even just playing of Fortnite. Look at all of the things you have to combat with. Acid pools, exploding death burst, slowing attacks, frost enemies, nature enemies that drain your stamina. The list goes on and on. Ninjas are just not in a capable spot of doing sustained amount of damage or a lot of damage, or what they're built for, which is AoE and or single target damage. They just can't do it. They die way too quick. They're too squishy. The character model, the whole archetype of the character has just fallen into obscurity and is technically probably the worst class in the game. It doesn't matter which one you play, the only one that has some viability is Dragon Slash, and that one falls off at 118 and does no damage then either. However, there may be some light at the end of the tunnel. Recently, we just had 2 swords released, and I didn't like the first one. In fact, I don't even remember the name, but this new one, this new sword, I gotta say, it's one of my favorites. When update day comes out, I have to make a decision, especially when 2 things drop, of what video I'm going to make first, and are these weapons or heroes even video worthy. At first, I was going to do it on the Jabberwocky, the brand new rocket launcher we have, and although it's a unique and fun and pretty damn good weapon, once I got this sword, I had to make the video on the sword. The Spectral Blade, the brand new sword that just came out, is unique, awesome looking, aesthetically pleasing, and probably the best sword melee weapon we have in the game. It has a brand new unique heavy attack that literally teleports you to the nearest enemy and hits hard. In my gameplay, I was hitting for about 250,000 to 340,000 damage per heavy attack, teleporting all across the map and just really feeling good about it. Now, there are some things to talk about, and we'll get into that in just a second, but just know there's 2 major ways you can roll this weapon. You can use it as basically a teleporting baseball bat sword and just fly through the targets 1-to-1 to 1-to-1, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that and what character to play. Or if you want to, you can perk it up as a regular sword, 1 crit chance, 2 crit damages if you so choose, and use it that way. The sword hits hard, does a lot of damage, and is a hell of a lot of fun to use. The issue with the sword kind of is onefold. It's a fantastic sword with decent attack speed. I'm not going to go into it and break it down because our DPS calculator actually doesn't work for melee weapons at the moment. But like I said, there's 2 ways you can do it. You can do one where you just do crit chance, crit damage, and let it rock that way. The sword is a good sword regardless of, you know, its special perk. It does really decent damage. You can put crit chance or crit damage in your support slot and really ramp it up to get to like 435 critical damage, assassination stacks on top of debilitating shots. Swords do damage. That's not the issue. The sword is not the issue. The issue are ninjas themselves, and we're not going to go into it too much about why, but the other way you can actually roll this sword is just make it a mobility sword, but that's a negative as well because you're going to be losing a damage roll. So instead of having 1 crit chance and 2 crit damages, now you're going to have 1 crit chance, 1 crit damage, and 150% heavy attack efficiency. And on this weapon, and only this weapon, and this is the only weapon I have ever suggested this on in my entire career of making YouTube videos, you're going to want a heavy attack efficiency. This does so many things for so many characters, excluding or not only including ninjas, that it's kind of absurd. It makes so many characters better. It complements so many other characters' kits to give them that much needed mobility. So yes, ninjas, it's fantastic on. Specifically, if we get into that real quick, two of them. One, this footage right behind you, is Assassin Sarah, a character that nobody really plays. She's not very popular, but she does have one thing that makes this sword awesome on her. If you take a quick look at the top left, as you see me teleport throughout the map, it takes 5 stamina. That's it, just 5. I can teleport up to 25 times in a row. It's ridiculous how efficient she is. The other one you might want to check out is Energy Thief. Energy Thief, after a couple melee hits, steals energy from the character, but it's not as good. Her kit isn't as good, and she's just not a very good ninja to begin with. And as we know, as I previously stated, ninjas aren't in a great spot anyway. I want you to watch this footage behind you. I went about 20 tiles up and decided to see how far I could actually make it with just using the heavy attack. And you'll see that I actually get pretty damn far, a lot farther than I thought I was going to. Now, this is using Assassin Sarah with 300% heavy attack efficiency. Every swing takes 7 energy in this case, but as I turn around, you can 100% see how far away I actually made it. The sword's utility alone is worth perking up. Keeping it on other characters is amazing too. In fact, let's talk about that. There are certain characters in the game that are fantastic, but always lack a certain thing. The only one that really excludes that is like Urban Assault Headhunter, who is just really good at everything. She has a whole kit designed to be just insanely powerful. But let's take a look at Ragnarok. Let's take a look at Reclaimer. Reclaimer is technically the best class in the game as well, at least for Outlanders. He's definitely considered to be, and granted this is only my opinion, the best Outlander in the game. But what does he lack? He does have Shock Tower, he does have Punch, and he does have Teddy, but he is lacking a phase shift. He's lacking that mobility, and you can get in some really hectic situations with that character. And now, imagine having a mini Dragon Slash, a mini phase shift in your third slot as a weapon. So not only does the sword itself hit incredibly hard and fast, it keeps you safe on any character that might not have mobility. I'm a firm believer in increasing the stats for the weapon as they should be. And what I mean by that, because I said that terribly, is if your weapon has a slow fire rate and hits hard, don't make it obsidian to increase a tiny bit of fire rate. Feed into its strong points and just make that one strong point incredibly strong. And that's the same thing here. That's why I suggest putting 1 heavy attack efficiency on the weapon. You want to use this weapon for mobility. You want to use this weapon as a secondary Dragon Slash even. You can see in the footage, we were playing 4 ninjas in this game. I'm hitting for 400,000 damage. One-shotting a lot of stuff, and if I don't one-shot it, I kill it with 2 swings anyway, and it just dies. Being able to bounce around the map and bounce to enemy is unrivaled with this weapon. It's a lot of fun, and what it does amazing. The biggest issue with this sword, the one thing that's holding it back, is in fact that it's a sword. That's really the biggest drawback of this weapon. You're not going to be using it all the time. In fact, I hope it doesn't become one of those weapons that you max out, you level up, you use it for 20 minutes and then never pick it up again. I don't think it will be, as it has so much utility for ninjas and other classes that actually bring ninjas back into the meta just a little bit. They're still not good by any means. They have too many things working against them to actually use them as a main class. But they are a little better with this sword. You can see in the footage, it's basically like dragon slashing and then using your heavy attack and then dragon slashing again. If you play the right character with enough heavy attack efficiency, or you perk up your character so it has bonus energy or stamina or anything like that, the weapon can really be useful. In fact, it's probably one of the most useful weapons I've ever used in the game. I really like it, and this is coming from somebody who hated the other sword. And on top of that, it also has a nice little perk to it. Its heavy attack actually stops fall damage. Now, a lot of people thought this was a thing with the sword, the other sword, the broadsword that we got. In fact, I just saw a Reddit post about it that, did you know that it doesn't stop your fall damage? Yeah, but that's nothing new. The Walloper, the Lead Sled, all those weapons had the same exact thing. None of them stop your fall damage. This weapon does, and right there, that's another incredible thing. So if you make it for mobility and you stick movement speed on it, and heavy attack efficiency, and you're doing encampment missions, build up 6 or 7 tiles and just heavy attack yourself all the way to the next encampment. The possibilities for this weapon's utility purposes are limitless, and I need to stress that point because really this is the first weapon like this. It looks amazing, it hits like a truck, its heavy attack is unique, different, and works on release, and it's just a ton of fun to use. I really enjoy this weapon, and so will you guys. The biggest issue with it is it's a sword, but even with that, the amount of utility it provides is unrivaled. That's it, guys. That's the Spectral Blade. How to roll it, what characters play it on. You can play it on any ninja if you don't have these ninjas, but even if you don't want to play it on a ninja, because now you have an Urban Assault Headhunter or a Reclaimer with extra mobility, a ton of extra mobility. And another thing that I have to admit that I love about this weapon is that the post-hit delay with the animation after using the heavy attack, there is one, but it's not too bad, making phase shifting with the sword around the map pretty usable. I really enjoy this weapon, guys, and if you can't get your hands on it just yet, come over to the stream, twitch.tv/roundedtiktak. All day tomorrow, I'm going to be doing Frostnite 30-minute runs for you guys to help you guys get this weapon. It's that good. In fact, during my little 2-hour night stream for the store, I convinced 5 people to perk this up instead of the rocket launcher. The rocket launcher, the Jabberwocky, is still good, and we'll be covering that tomorrow, but I wanted to get this out to you today. I feel like I made the right choice. The new weapon is fun, unique, aesthetically pleasing, and a ton of viability in the game, especially in the mobility aspect. You can take any character and make them so much better by just holding on to this weapon. That's really it, guys. I hope this video helped you out. I hope you enjoyed it. Tomorrow we are going to be doing the Jabberwocky. If you guys like this kind of stuff, you want to support the channel, make sure to hit that like button, leave a comment. I'll get back to you if you have any questions. And if you feel like it, hit subscribe. It really helps out the channel. I'll see you guys tomorrow on the next one. Jabberwocky coming up next. TikTak out.